What's up, everyone? It's Anna, also known as That Star Wars Girl, and today I am actually going to be talking about something I'm kind of excited about, and it is there has been this kind of rumor announcement going on that Dave Filoni said a few things about how in The Mandalorian, the new TV show, that his first live-action TV show of Star Wars that he's ever been working on, that there is going to be a Clone Wars character making an appearance in The Mandalorian. I got really excited about this because I'm a huge fan of the Clone Wars. So when I saw, just the headline for this article, I was like, oh my god, please let it be Ahsoka. I know that, some of my favorite characters did, not make it through either the Clone Wars series or Revenge of the Sith. So I'm like, who is it going to be? And I'm just hoping, please don't let it be, a complete letdown. It's like, oh, Darth Vader. It's like, oh, yay, Anakin. Great. So, but there's been these rumors going around that, Hayden Christensen, the actor that played Anakin, that him and, the Emperor, they've been hanging out. They were going to go make an appearance at a con. So I was like, oh my god, are they going to, bring Anakin back for, flashbacks, or have Hayden Christensen in The Mandalorian, but in Darth Vader's suit, maybe, because that was one of Hayden Christensen's big thing, is he really insisted in Revenge of the Sith that he was allowed to be in the Darth Vader suit, and he described it as, it's every little boy's dream. Who doesn't want to be in Darth Vader's suit? So that's why he insisted to George that he wanted to be in it, and talked about how uncomfortable it was. But I would love to see Ahsoka. And since it takes place in the Outer Rim, if you read, the Ahsoka book, she's, in, planets like Raieta, and she's out there, trying to, find the crystals so that way she can make her lightsabers again, because she had to leave her lightsabers when she faked her death. Spoiler alert, by the way. But I think everyone's kind of pumped up, oh my gosh, is it going to be Ahsoka? I'm like, are they just pulling our tail, and it's just going to be, just a regular character that we've already seen before? But I'm really excited to check out this article, and who knows if it's going to let us know anything about it, but I was excited when I saw it, and I know that people are like, well, Disney and whatnot, people get mad because now things are coming out with The Mandalorian, and I know it's hard for me to, things like this, it makes me excited, but then it's like, oh, do I really want to get my hopes up only to be betrayed? Because that's what happened with The Last Jedi, and that's what happened with everything that Disney has done with Star Wars so far. So it's like, when I first initially see it, I'm excited, but I'm taking it with a grain of salt. And even just seeing, Ahsoka, seeing Hayden Christensen come back as Darth Vader, just the imagery alone, I would love to see, but I don't think I can take seeing their characters get destroyed like I saw Luke and Han and Leia. So, again, initially I'm excited, but I'm taking it with a grain of salt. But anyway, let's go check out this article and see if they actually reveal anything, or if it's just going to be one of those things where it's like, oh, we're going to build up all this hype and then leave it dead-ended. But let's go see what Dave Filoni said and see if I can get any insight on it. Alright, everyone, I have the article pulled up, so I did get a little wrong. It's not specifically the Clone Wars, but what this says is Dave Filoni teasing that Star Wars The Mandalorian will feature the live-action debut of an animated character. So I guess they could cheat and say, oh, it's Anakin, it's the animated version of him. But chances are it's not. It might be one of the clones. It could be an alien. There was a lot of characters that were introduced in the Clone Wars. And, I think everyone is just banking on it being Ahsoka, because that is one of the most iconic characters, if not the most iconic character that Dave Filoni created, along with, George Lucas, because Dave worked very, very closely with George when he was doing the Clone Wars. So, let's see what this says. Dave Filoni has delivered Star Wars fans some of the saga's best storytelling with Star Wars The Clone Wars and Star Wars Rebels. Oh yeah, Rebels too. I liked Rebels. It wasn't my favorite. There were things about it that I really, really liked. Yeah, of course, bringing back Ahsoka when they go to the Sith Temple and they're looking for the holocrons, and, of course, Maul, and that dynamic that they have there, that battle between Darth Vader and Ahsoka, that is absolutely incredible. That was one of, the best episodes of a TV show I've ever seen, especially, since it's an animated TV show. And not to say animated TV shows aren't good. Go look at Avatar: The Last Airbender, fantastic animated TV show. So there is some good things in Star Wars Rebels, but there are also parts that dragged. I like that they actually showed Thrawn. I loved Thrawn. I wish that they would have shown him to the full potential, which I don't feel like they did. But there's good things to be said about Rebels. There's also, criticisms that can be said to Rebels. You can say the same thing about the Clone Wars. For me, it was kind of harder to get into, but it grows on you. And the last few seasons of the Clone Wars, the writing is just absolutely phenomenal. So if you have a chance to go watch it, I would highly recommend it. It is worth it. It is really, really worth it. You learn so much more about the Jedi and the dynamic between a master and their Padawan. It's really good, as well as the clones. Let's see. With recent comments he has made, leaving us wonder if Star Wars The Mandalorian could see the live-action debut of a character he created. While his comments about this work on the stories don't directly hint at such a debut, Filoni has years of experience sharing ambiguous remarks that lead towards fan speculation, so we can't help but wonder if his wording could confirm what fans have been hoping to see for years. Star Wars The Mandalorian debuts on Disney Plus on November 12th. All right, Pirate Bay, November 12th is going to be popular. Okay, Dave Filoni, I believe this is his little quote. Okay. Having a character you wrote walk up and talk to you in full costume on set that you imagined, that was a wonderful thing David Filoni shared with Entertainment Weekly about his time on set. Taken at face value, it's possible these are... sorry, I got a thing in my throat. Unconscious comments about what it's like to encounter Star Wars characters in real world as opposed to developing them behind the scenes and having them feature in an animated adventure, but the specifics of his comments could be hinting at something even more exciting. Fans have known Filoni was directing episodes of the series for quite some time, though it wasn't previously confirmed that he had been writing on the project. In that regards, it's possible that Filoni hasn't written anything for The Mandalorian and was speaking about a different character from his career. Having written multiple episodes of The Clone Wars and Rebels, it's possible that the series will feature one of the characters he created for either of those series. Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if it did, because one of the things that's really big in Star Wars is the clones and the Clone Wars. Yes, it was mentioned in A New Hope. They did touch on the clones, but if you read into the Star Wars Expanded Universe, there is a huge stigma about clones and how people basically look at them. They're, in the Empire, they didn't like aliens. The Emperor was prejudiced against aliens. He didn't like non-humans, but he would even prefer non-humans over clones, because to them, they don't see clones as humans, and that's something that clones struggle with, and that's something that you encounter in, the Star Wars Expanded Universe with the Thrawn novels, Heir to the Empire and, the Hand of Thrawn, when they encounter clones, and the clones are like, we're people too, we have lives too, we're not just who we were created from, we are our own people. And they really emphasize that in the Clone Wars TV show, the Clone Wars TV show. My favorite clone is Fives. I've always loved Fives. That episode with, his story arc is my favorite episode of the Clone Wars TV show. It's a very well-written episode. It's also a very, heart-wrenching episode. And that's my favorite, clone. And even though all of these clones, they're clones. They look they're identical clones. That's kind of the thing about a clone. They all have such different personalities that you can tell exactly who it is when they come in. You know the difference between Rex. You know the difference between Cody. You know the difference between Fives. You know the difference between Echo. They're such, unique people, even though they look exactly like, their brothers. That's what they call each other. So I wouldn't be surprised if they showed some of the clones, because this is the remnants of the Empire, and I guess now they're saying that it's leading up into the how the First Order got created. Okay, I know a lot of people are mad about that. They're saying, the show's going to be ruined because of that. If they don't get into SJW nonsense, if they actually write a good story and have that overlooming fear that, there's this darkness that's rising, you could do it well. Yes, we're all pissed off what happened with Star Wars. It fucking sucks what they did with Luke. It sucks what they did with Han. It sucks what they did with Leia. It sucks that everything that George built, they want to destroy. I trust Star Wars fans like Dave Filoni and, Jon Favreau. They're not my favorite people. They are not the people I would pick. I don't, completely blindly trust them, but I trust them enough to at least stay true to the characters because I've seen their work and I saw their passion in Chicago. I don't think this is going to be the best TV show ever made, but I think that if they do the storytelling right, it could be good. And if they leave out all the wokeness that is surrounding Disney, especially, Lucasfilm and Star Wars, it has the potential to be something. And I try not to judge a show just based on the first season because, you can go watch, I always say this, the first season of Star Trek The Next Generation, for me, it's a little too on the sexual side. There is great things in that season, but for me, it's this, I don't, let me go back and rewatch the first season. No, I'll go to, certain episodes of certain seasons that I like, but there's a lot of TV shows where either the first season is their best season or it's, the most painful to get through. So, like when you watch Game of Thrones, great first season, completely captivates you. Then there's other shows where it's like, it takes them a while to kind of get their thing, and it grows on you. So I don't know what they're going to do with this, but I totally think that there is potential to show clones in this because the clones have to go into hiding. Rex goes into hiding, and that's why when you see him in Rebels, it's like Ahsoka, he's out here hiding on this planet in the Outer Rim or, in the unknown regions. If that's what they're going to touch on, that's where clones would be. So it wouldn't surprise me, especially if they're going to, I believe the actor that played Jango Fett, I haven't seen anything for him coming back, but I wouldn't be surprised if he's in it as multiple, clones. I don't see why he wouldn't want to come back and be in the movies or, in the TV shows. It's a paycheck for him if nothing else. So that wouldn't surprise me, especially since he's human. He's aged since he was in the prequels, and it would make sense and it would fit within the timeline. So that would be cool to see. Also, I wouldn't be surprised if we saw a reference to Hera or, if we saw Ahsoka. That's one I think everyone is really, oh my god, it's going to be Ahsoka. But there's a lot of characters that are in it. They could even bring Zeb in. That wouldn't surprise me at all. I know he didn't create Thrawn, but they could, have... would Thrawn be dead by this time? Well, the expanded universe is out the window according to Disney, so that timeline doesn't even matter anymore. But there is so many potential for so many characters, so it is very open-ended in the comment, but I would not be surprised if they made references to clones because that is such a big part of the Star Wars universe. Let's see. Both Clone Wars and Rebels took place before the events of Star Wars A New Hope, so if any character from either of those series were to appear, they'd appear older than what they saw in the animated adventures. Yes, that's true, and again, when it's an animated character that you haven't seen, in live action, I know the clone's different, so, the Jango Fett clone, that would be different. They would have to, age him a bit more, especially... Not gonna get... actually, at that time, maybe they would be dead by that time. Now that I'm thinking about it because of Rebels, I did not take that into consideration before, so it would be 30 years after, so he'd be really freaking old. But, they do make more clones. I know that's in the expanded universe novels. Oh my god, all the Star Wars stuff, it's all getting jumbled. But it wouldn't be out of the ordinary for there to be clones, or there to be remnants of clones, or for one of the clones to have... they all left. A lot of them, had families and fathered children. It wouldn't be weird if he came back and it's like, oh, you're the clone, you're the son of a clone type of thing. That wouldn't be out of there. But, it's possible, and also you have to take into consideration aliens age differently than humans do. So some races might live longer, and, they might age as gracefully. It's kind of like how we have pets. So I have a dog and I have 2 cats. So my dog, her lifespan is... but dog's general lifespan is, maybe max 20 years. Okay, in that 20 years, we, us humans, age differently than a dog does. So maybe to, aliens, we age, the equivalent of a dog to a human, so an alien to a human. There could be something like that to where they don't age as fast. That could be something that hasn't been explored, and so that's why a character from the Clone Wars or even Rebels would be making an appearance. They could bring in characters like Arinda Price. She was really big in the Empire, and maybe showing what happened after the Empire fell and how she's trying to make her way again. She was from Lothal. Again, she'd be much older, but there's characters that you could bring in that were in these TV shows that it would work with the time that could potentially still be alive. Heck, even Ezra could still be alive. A lot of the things with the Sith could still be going on. And, all the Jedi that did survive, all the... I don't think they would bring some characters in, but... maybe even if they're referencing Sabine or Sabine's descendants. I don't know. But we will see. Let's see. After the stories of Jango, of Jango and Boba Fett, another warrior emerges into the Star Wars universe. The Mandalorian is set after the fall of the Empire and before the emergence of the First Order. We follow the travelings of a lone gunfighter in the outer reaches of the galaxy, far from authority of the New Republic. And again, this is why, like, immediately I think of the clones, and, you know, especially if Jango Fett was a Mandalorian, Boba Fett was a Mandalorian, and that's why, you know, when you go to Star Wars Celebration, everyone's like, oh yeah, Mandalore, when you're in the Clone Wars. And Dave Filoni really loves Mandalorians because that's a really big part of the Clone Wars plot lines, especially with Obi-Wan. And you go watch it, it's really good. But having Jango Fett be the one that is the basis for all these clones, that's why I'm so fixated on that, is that even if the clones have passed on, even if there's more clones, because the cloning facilities on Kamino, they could still potentially be making clones of him and just putting them out there. Or, you know, maybe the Emperor, he needed more people, or something happened at the end. Maybe, you know, something's going on. Their Death Star's getting exploded. Maybe he just made one more last call off air that nobody saw because the prequels hadn't been made yet. And he's just like, oh, shoot, my Death Star exploded. I need more people. I just need, you know, extra bodies. Let me call up my friends on Kamino. Hey, you know those clones that you made all those years ago? Can you just make me another batch? And so maybe more got made. Maybe, you know, that could be answered. But that would really tie in with the Mandalorian. Maybe these clones are trying to, you know, be Mandalorians, and that could be a thing, because this is supposed to be a Western. And it's like, you know, the standoff, like, oh, you're not the real Mandalorian. It's, you know, they're trying to be, and they're trying to overcome that stigma with clones, and, you know, that animosity towards them. And, you know, or they're the descendants of clones, and you can still get the same actor. I think that would be really cool to see. But like I said, this wouldn't be, I guess it technically wouldn't be an animated character that he created unless it was one of the clones. But still, alien, clone, this is very open-ended. I think everyone is banking on it being Ahsoka. I think that's a little too on the nose. I think if they're going to introduce Ahsoka, maybe save that for like a season finale type thing. Like bring her in at the end that, you know, gets the grab for season 2. Or maybe make that a plot point, you know. Maybe they're looking for this character for a season or something, and then you get to that character, and then something happens, and then this character has to help you in an essential on this plot against the big bad or whatever is going on. So if they're just going to kind of throw Ahsoka in there, I think that they need to do a lot more with the plot point. But the whole thing, you know, with the clones, if it's a Jango Fett clone who is a Mandalorian, that could also be, you know, tied into it. Heck, I even think it would be cool if it showed the perspective of one of the clones trying to be a Mandalorian, and everyone rejects him because he's a clone, and he's trying to overcome that. That would be cool. I do, however, I love the actor that they got to be the Mandalorian. He's great. I loved him in Game of Thrones. His portrayal of Oberyn Martell was spot freaking on. And I'm one of those people that I love the book. Like, if I read a book, I love it, and I look at a show or, you know, a movie, and I'm like, oh, it didn't happen in the book. But I honestly think that his portrayal of the character made me enjoy it more, you know, going back and reading the books. It's like because when I read it, I hadn't seen him yet on screen. He hadn't been casted yet. So when I read it, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, you know, this is an interesting character. It's cool. And then, you know, of course, we all know what happens. And then when Pablo got cast as him, and the way he played him, it's like, oh my god, it just adds so much to the character. It's so good. Just kind of like how Peter Dinklage like intensifies Tyrion's character. It's just little things like that. So I think that they have a really good cast set up for this. Like everyone that I've seen, everyone that, you know, got introduced at Star Wars Celebration, it's honestly, they have the recipe to make something great. So it's going to break my heart if it's not. And it's like, I want to be so optimistic, and I even feel this optimistic, but I'm so afraid of being betrayed again. And I just can't take it, because after everything that's been going on with Star Wars, it's like, come on, like, I've already had, like, the stab. You guys all saw my Last Jedi review. It's like, I was sitting in the theater so excited. I even, like, sketched a picture of Rey in my sketchbook, and I posted on Instagram saying, like, I've been drawing, like, I'm so excited for The Last Jedi. Like, I'm pretty sure, like, what if it is, you know, just as epic as The Empire Strikes Back? And then I got in the theater, and within the first 5 minutes, you know, my blood was boiling. I could feel, like, the heat on my face. I'm like, what the am I watching, you know? And, like, Yo Mama joke, and then Luke threw the lightsaber. I'm like, what the hell? oh my god, it was infuriating, and it broke my heart, because this is something I loved my entire life, and this has been such a huge part of my life, and to watch that get destroyed, and to be so optimistic about it, like, I can't do that again. I just can't. I don't want to see the thing I love get destroyed, because I love Star Wars. Star Wars, like I said, it's been such a huge part of my life, and I really hope this isn't bad. I really hope not, and just seeing it, I get excited, like, hearing this. Oh my gosh, a character from the Clone Wars. I love the Clone Wars. Probably it wasn't my favorite, but I still enjoyed it. And, I want to be excited. I want to like it, but I don't know. I'm not going to know until I see it. And it's something that I think everyone is, like, really anticipating, and, oh, is it going to be good? Is it going to be bad? I already know it's going to be better than The Last Jedi. I know it's going to be better than anything we've seen from Disney Star Wars so far, and that's because the people that are making it are actual Star Wars fans, and that's different. You can say, oh, well, The Force Awakens. The Force Awakens was J.J. Abrams putting pretty shots together. J.J. Abrams is, in my opinion, not creative at all. He doesn't have a creative bone in his body. He just knows how to make things look pretty and appear pleasing at first, but he just copies everything. And I said this a million times. I will say it again. I will never forgive him for ruining The Wrath of Khan. How the hell do you fuck up The Wrath of Khan, one of the best movies ever? Come on. And he fucked it up. How? You literally have something handed to you. You're doing a remake of Star Trek at that point, and you fuck it up. How? How, JJ? How? You literally are given, good actors that are portraying these characters to, the best extent that they can, and you have all the technology you want to make it look as pretty as you want, and you fuck it up. I don't understand why making The Wrath of Khan is so fucking difficult, because you had freaking gold, and you threw it away, and you presented us shit instead. I'll never forgive him for that. So watching The Force Awakens, it's like, oh, it's a remake of A New Hope, and you murdered, you wasted Luke. Han and Leia and him will never be in the scene together. You made Han Solo be like Indiana Jones, but stupid in outer space. And yeah, the one line that is basically a summary for everything that Disney has put out of Star Wars so far is, that's not how the Force works. It's the best freaking part of that entire movie, because it's so true, and that's all of us Star Wars fans yelling at Disney. It's like, that's not how it works. You don't understand, because you've never seen Star Wars. You don't know anything about Star Wars, and you're trying to make these movies. Sorry, that was a little rant. But that being said, I have way more faith in Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni than anyone else working at Disney. So my fingers are crossed for them. Jon Favreau has failed me a lot in the past. I liked Iron Man. I like the idea what he did there. I hope it has more depth than that, because I expect that from Star Wars. I did grow up watching, the original trilogy. I want that depth. I want that, just that arc, that hero's journey. And this doesn't have to be a hero's journey. It can be an anti-hero. I don't care. But I want to capture that essence of Star Wars. I don't think Jon Favreau is the one to do it. I much more trust Dave Filoni doing that than Jon. Of course that goes off. But sorry about that. Something's always going off in the background. But I trust these guys more than anyone else working at Disney. That's basically the summary of what I was getting at there. I know I tend to ramble, so I apologize, but everyone, I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know what you think in the comments below, what characters you probably think it might be, or, whatever theories you have. Let me know. I'd love to read that and, maybe explore a bit more, because right now my head is, like, so focused on, oh my gosh, could it be clones because it's the Mandalorian, and, connecting all the dots together. And yeah, of course, aliens are easy. Those are really easy. Just, throw some makeup on, the characters. They're seeming to do a really good job of showing that, since it's in the Outer Rim, at least from the trailer that I saw. But let me know what you think in the comments below. If you like this video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. If you didn't, that's okay too. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel. Make sure you click that little bell. That way you get notifications when I do other videos and live streams. And until next time, everyone, have a great rest of your day, and may the Force be with you, because we are really, really, really going to need it. Bye, everyone. What's up, everyone? It's Anna, also known as That Star Wars Girl, and I have an Etsy store, so if you've ever wanted to own a print of my artwork, this is the place to go. As you can see, I have a lot of recognizable characters, from horror films to heroes to Star Wars characters. Some of the notable characters I have on here are Darth Vader, which I did a couple live streams painting, so you can own a print of this painting. I also have Luke Skywalker, the binary sunset version, one of my favorite scenes in the original New Hope movie. I have Darth Maul, which Ray Parks himself actually complimented me on Instagram. And then last but certainly not least, Ahsoka Tano. So if you want to own any of these prints, go right on over to my Etsy store. Again, that's The Art of Anna, That Star Wars Girl, or TSWG for short. Thank you, everyone, and have a great rest of your day. What's up, everyone? I have a P.O. box, so if you want to send me some mail, go ahead and send it to Anna, That Star Wars Girl, or TSWG for short, at P.O. Box number 28171, Santa Ana, California, 927998171. Have a great day, everyone. Thank you so much.